Sometimes I'll look at a chart and I'll think this is paradigm shifting. At first I'll be a little confused. I'm like, wait a second, how in the world does that work? But then I really stop and think about it. I'm like, oh, wow, new bit of information unlocked. And this is one of those charts, okay? So let's talk about it. But before we do that, do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment in the comment section if you haven't already. But, oh my goodness, okay. Average cumulative S&P 500 total returns, January 1st, 1988 to present. The yellowish, I hate these colors, yellowish bar, invest on any day. The green bar, invest at all-time highs. You would think that the person who's investing at all-time highs would do worse than the person investing on any day, but no. The one who consistently just invests when a particular S&P 500 stock is at all-time highs, this is what you will get. An 11.7% return for invest on any day, 14.6% return after 1 year. After 3 years, it's 39.1% for invest on any day, 50.4% to invest on all-time highs. After 5 years, 71.4% invest on any day, 78.9% invest on all-time highs. So what's the deal with this? Well, read Brandon Balo, I've never heard of him, but read his second tweet here, the tweet he's quoting. One of the greatest sins a value investor can commit is ignoring relative strength leaders and not buying new highs. I know this seems counterintuitive, but this is a big thing that this author of the book, Best Loser Wins, I recommended that a couple months ago, Best Loser Wins. This is something that he talked about is very important, is to let your winners run and to keep on adding to your winners. And so what does this do? What does this do? This ignores a dying stock, a stock that eventually gets removed from the S&P 500. You reinvest on that on any day, that goes away, and then you just ride that to zero or something. And what it does is it picks the winners for you. So if you need to have some kind of a shift in your mindset, let this information be that shift. Now, I know I usually don't start out with stock stuff. I start out with Bitcoin stuff. It's just I need to talk about this. I'm probably going to make a short form video talking about this very thing. So just really fascinating stuff to me. Moving on, though. Okay, let's talk about short term for Bitcoin. In the current hour, there's a clear closing of long positions supported by aggressive short volume. This is a classic soft reversal point. After an uptrend, as long as funding remains positive but open interest is declining, you should expect a short-term correction or consolidation below $108,000. So if you're a regular on this channel, you know that I tend to make the videos the day before. And this is no different. You're going to watch this on a Friday. Most of you, not the members. Members on the channel watch this as soon as it goes live. And subscribers, regular subscribers, you're going to watch it the next day. But what I've seen so far today, being Thursday, the day that I'm making this video, is we saw Bitcoin go up to 108K a few times and get rejected there. And so what are we seeing here? Okay, Bitcoin futures position dominance, 1 hour time frame. We are seeing a lot of longs take profits. They were in longs maybe from the day that Elon Musk said that Donald Trump was on the Epstein list, for example. From maybe that day to today, now they're taking profits. And so we're seeing like a rounded level of profit taking, and we're seeing some build up in shorts. I talked about in a short form video yesterday that I'm not interested in buying spot right now, but I have some entries that I'll lay out in future videos for certain cryptos that I'm interested in buying. And I am in a couple shorts. Now, I want to be clear, they're very low vol. And actually, I'll just tell you, I have 4 1x shorts open. So that's as far as I'm really interested in going. I'll make a few bucks trading, especially for my for my $200 to $1 million challenge. I'm trying to make $10 a day in my trades. Here's an opportunity. I think that short term, we have a little bit to go down. And I talked about an ABC correction. I think we're going to see Bitcoin under $100,000, and that's okay because what comes after an ABC correction is a next wave higher, and I believe that that will come. And okay, you know what? Short-term bearish, that's okay, guys. It's okay. Just do what you will. DCA, I'm in favor of all that right now. I wasn't in favor of that earlier this year, but I'm in favor of that now. So we have from Brett here. Love this guy. Give him a follow on X. Here's a quote from people who are saying that the top's in. Bitcoin's 1 week stochastic RSI is overbought. Top is in. Actual text and posts I've seen. Check out the green shaded areas. This is the time frame between the halving and the cycle top. The last 2 cycles, Bitcoin's weekly stochastic RSI was overbought 4 to 5 times before the top was in. Can a cool down occur? Sure. Like maybe what we're going to experience over the next week or two. Bitcoin pumped 45% between April and May. Does it mean the top is in? No. And that is my mindset right now. That, okay, we're in the green zone. That's the fun zone. Weekly stochastic RSI has topped and it went down. So we went down from 108 to 74. And here we are, weekly stochastic RSI. Is it going to be that bad? I don't think so. But look at 2021. I mean, multiple times, weekly stochastic RSI was well overbought, and we did just fine. So, you can even see in the summer of 2020, we did have a point where weekly stochastic RSI was overbought for a couple of times, and Bitcoin ranged. It went up to 12,000 and ranged there for a bit, and then went back down to 10,000, and that was this move back down in stochastic RSI. And then we were overbought for quite a while in stochastic. In 2017, which this run is more looking like 2017 than 2021. It was very similar, multiple times in overbought territory. That's a bit of data, weekly stochastic RSI being overbought. Okay, that doesn't necessarily mean that we dump from here. It could be in a grind, it could be in a chop, sure, but let's see this ABC correction play itself out, and then we'll move on from there. On-chain college, patience is a virtue with Bitcoin. One of my favorite indicators is the MVRV Z-score. So the MVRV Z-score, you can see, okay, historically, 2013, we had some significant peaks. 2017, we had a significant peak. 2021, it wasn't nearly as significant because we didn't have a blow-off top. We had a rounded top, that first peak in 2021. But what this shows you is how much the average Bitcoin holder is in profit. And there have been times in history, believe it or not, when the average Bitcoin holder was 10x, more than 10x in profit. In 2021, we got up to 7x, and that was the peak. In the second peak in 2021, we got up to less than 4x. And in 2024, we got up to less than 4x both times. This is, you want to make an argument for diminishing returns, or you just, it's a maturing asset. And we've spent an increasing time hovered here, which I want to show you the next couple of tweets that could explain why we're not having these big spikes, but we are hovering. And so this is a thing. Yeah, you want to see, if you see it get up, especially if we see a peak like 2021, you got to be very careful. It's going to be time to be taking some off the table. If the market blesses us with a peak like that, oh my goodness. But okay, this is really fascinating. This perspective here. Retail FOMO cycles are over. This is the institutional cycle. So you can see retail FOMO, whoomp, retail FOMO, retail FOMO. And then institutional structured bid. This is what we've seen with Bitcoin. We've seen it pump and grind, pump and grind, pump and grind. Is this going to be just the new normal for Bitcoin? Now, I am expecting a bear market. I am still of the mindset that I'm preparing for a bear market. I like the idea of having a bear market where Bitcoin goes down 75 or 80%. Now, it's not fun in the moment. 2022 was miserable, but if you have the stomach to buy Bitcoin after an 80% drop, yes, sign me up for that. And maybe there is a possibility, which is why I'm okay stacking Bitcoin right now. There's a possibility that this might be a new normal, not only for Bitcoin. You guys might be shocked to hear me say this, but Ethereum, I've talked about with the spot Ethereum ETFs that we've overcome those first 6 months of the spot ETH ETF's existence. We were actually net negative because Grayscale was selling so much. But now that's kind of leveled off, and now the ETFs are accumulating, and they're accumulating multiple times the amount of Ethereum that's minted per day. And so maybe Ethereum is going to do something like this too. That's really a really fascinating visualization here. And so the next tweet also kind of shares a similar thought. Fred Krueger, forget the halving cycle. We are in the hard money ETF cycle. When the gold ETF came out, I've talked about this a ton. We had 7 years of a solid bull market. Just look at this chart. I expect the same for Bitcoin. I have talked on this channel about projections for 2026 and 2027 actually exceeding 2025 for the spot Bitcoin ETFs with their accumulation. So if that happens again, I don't know what a bear market looks like, but there's lots of variables. What would a financial crash, financial crisis look like? The bond market's terrifying, things like that. So there's a lot of different things I'm juggling, but I'm playing some different instruments here. I don't know how to say that in terms of thinking like, okay, we could go much different directions this time around than what we saw in 2021 and in 2017, going into the bear market in 2018. We very much could. So what do we make of this? Let's wait and see, and let's be prepared for as many outcomes as we can. Now, something that I found, this is a new bit of information that I find, I pulled up a chart on TradingView. Let me just read it real quick. So I don't know who this person is, but I follow Tony the Bull Severino on X. Really good information from his account. Total DeFi 1 month, excuse me. Holy S, look at that monthly volume. Never heard of this ticker/chart before this video. Now I see why Tony has been showing Aave. I've been super bullish on Aave a bunch lately. Sheesh. Other DeFi to keep an eye on: Uniswap, Maker, Curve, CVX. Is that Convex? I don't know. And Lido DAO. Watch this whole thing. Hat Tip, Finance, Camel, and look at DeFi volume. Wow, on the 1 month chart. This is a 1 month ticker. That is quite an uptick in volume, and you can see very bullish structure. And this is another 1 month chart, and this is something that I've never even known that there was a total DeFi ticker on TradingView, and so I pulled it up. And what do we see here? I mean, we can certainly see it. Now I'm on the daily chart, but we can certainly see a lot of volume, a big uptick in volume on the total DeFi daily chart, and a bullish market structure that looks very similar. It's somewhat similar to Ethereum's market structure. And then total DeFi, this is total DeFi. The first one was total DeFi dominance, excuse me. So this is total DeFi dominance, and this is total DeFi market cap. And my goodness, can we get on the other side of the 200-day? It's been almost a little over a month of trying to break through that moving average. On the other side of that, I mean, this looks bullish. This looks really solid. So certain DeFi cryptos, you got to keep your eye on those. Absolutely. Now, again, short term, next week, next 2 weeks, not in love with what I'm seeing in the crypto market, but this is a good time to accumulate, especially if this were to get back down to the bottom of the range for total DeFi. Now, Zhao Wedson, I feel like I'm just going to quote something of his every time that he posts, basically, or every time I make a video. The vast majority of altcoins have a 24-hour time frame, MACD in the bearish region. On the weekly RSI, some altcoins are overbought. Tron, that's a bummer. I bought some Tron recently. SPX, XMR, Monero, GT, and even Bitcoin, while in the extremely oversold region, CTK has the lowest RSI of all, followed by Melania. Forget about Melania, my goodness. Most altcoins have a weekly RSI between 30 and 60, and I see a good basic filter would be to choose those with low RSI and a daily MACD in green or still red, but about to turn green, as that could signal an opportunity to accumulate at low prices. So there's a lot to embrace here. So we have RSI, this first part's RSI and crypto rank. Who cares about the rank, honestly? I mean, Bitcoin, Tron, all that stuff, and then Melania, my goodness. But Pay attention. I like this strategy. This is what I want to talk about. All right. What do we see here? Most altcoins have a weekly RSI between 30 and 60. I see a good basic filter would be to choose those with low RSI on the weekly and daily MACD in green or still red, about to turn green, and that's MACD histogram, the MACD histogram. Let me pull that up here. I have that on TradingView. I don't pay as much attention to MACD as other indicators, but all right, I need to get rid of stochastic here. So, like total, let me just zoom in on this. If I can, will you let me? There we go. So this would be, if this were a cryptocurrency on the daily, this would be a good one to buy, but this is the total DeFi one because, it's trending upwards. So that's good. MACD histogram. You'll see the green, the light, if you see a good time to get in usually is when you see it turn light pink for the first time after going red. So just something to keep in mind, but good strategy there. And okay, Louis Raskin, you got to follow him. He's a very successful trader and friend of mine, internet friend. So I feel like if there's a decent dip on Ethereum, then that will be one of the best buying opportunities you're going to get, considering how much ETH, BlackRock, and other ETFs have been scooping up lately, plus the fact it looks like Ethereum against Bitcoin might have bottomed. I've shared lots of information about that. We have from Quinton here, institutions are accumulating ETH. I just love to see this. This means the selling pressure from Grayscale has been neutralized, and there's a lot of interest in Ethereum. There's just generally more interest in Ethereum. We did overreact. I was guilty of overreacting, and I also said we shouldn't overreact. I was speaking out of both sides of my mouth, I know, but we're in a good spot, guys. I know a lot of altcoins look kind of bearish right now, but we are in a good spot. If Bitcoin and Ethereum are going to be in good spots, which both of them are, then we are in a good spot. So lastly here, Fred Krueger. Sorry to end this on a sour note, but this is really depressing. The United States debt is officially out of control and tariffs don't matter. Spending went from $594 billion to $694 billion from April to May. Revenue dropped down from $850 billion to $371 billion. Now, okay, the green line is the tariffs, they don't matter. That's a really important thing. Now, all right, is he being a little dramatic? I mean, the spending increase is terrible. Look at the revenue. It spiked up big time to over 800 billion and then went back down to the mean. And so whatever, but still, this sucks. Anyway, let's take a look at Bitcoin real quick. So 107, between 107 and 108. Again, I drew this ABC correction, and hey, you know what? It looks like it's playing itself out a little faster than I expected. So we'll see. I am going to be an eager buyer of crypto with Bitcoin under $100,000. I can't even begin to describe. I am so locked into the market right now. I want you to understand that, guys. I am so locked into the market right now. I feel like I'm on another plane. That if we see Bitcoin get below $100,000, I'm not going to be nervous at all. I'm not going to be sweating. I'm just going to be ready to buy. And I'm going to be excited to buy. And you should, not financial advice, you should be too. And not just Bitcoin, but buy stuff. Buy crypto. All right. So anyway, that's all I have for today. I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful rest of your week. I will most certainly be seeing you in another video. Peace.